What is going on? The Bills moved to 3-1. Big 17-point deficit comeback by Josh Allen and the Bills over the nevermore Baltimore Ravens. And I got my people in the building to talk about it. James Mallory, what's up?
What's up? What's up, man? Ready to talk some Bills talk? You know what I mean? So we back at it.
Sarah Larson, ready to go?
What's up? I'm ready to go.
All right. Yeah, let's talk about Milano, Edmunds, best duo in the NFL. Josh Allen, fear factor. Khalil Shakir ready to step out. And OBJ's tweeting again. And what about that boy Jordan Poyer trying to get paid? We got a lot on deck. We'll be right back. As we said in the intro, the Bills overcame a 17-point deficit to come back to beat Lamar Jackson, who was having an MVP season up until that moment, to beat the Baltimore Ravens. And what's funny about that is there was a lot of negativity in the Bills Mafia at halftime, rightfully so. But my guy James Mallory right here, and I know to say right now, I know you were on board with the comeback. You said they were a third quarter team. My man Mallory said, messaged me on Facebook Messenger, said, I ain't worried. The Bills gonna come back and win this game. Not a problem. Not even a thought. James, why were you so confident?
I mean, just knowing football, right? And just understand the teams and how they structured and just the flow of games, right? The flow of that game, how everything was going for Baltimore in the first two quarters, and the Bills just weren't buried. They didn't bury them. I knew they didn't have a chance. I just knew nobody's going to hold this offense one full game without just making plays. It's just not realistic. It's not going to happen, right? So I just knew like the flow of it. I'm like, Bills making a ton of mistakes. Josh, interception. We got fumbles going on. It was just all bad for us, right? And then when I'm looking at the score at halftime, well, I told everybody, middle of the second quarter, they thought that was crazy. I'm like, Bills gonna win this game. It's already a wrap. I already know they're gonna win it. It's gonna be a close game, but they're gonna win it. So that flow and just how everything was coming, like any team like that, right? You gotta bury them. If that happens, you gotta bury them in the first half. They should have had 30 points in the first half to really put us to sleep. That's the only way they really would have buried us. And they had every opportunity to score 30 in that first half, and they didn't. And when they didn't capitalize like that, I knew they was in trouble.
Sarah, third quarter team, right?
Third quarter team. I wasn't as confident as James. Okay, I was there miserable with how we played, but I'll be honest. When we scored the touchdown right before half, that is what kind of got me like, okay, we're in a rhythm. The two turnovers, we were beating ourselves. Honestly, if you looked at how we were playing, like James said, we should have been put away, and we weren't. And so I said, there's an opportunity. If we stop them on the first drive, coming back out, we can get right back into this game. And again, like I had said, we're a third quarter team. We're gonna come out. We're gonna do this. We're gonna score. I wasn't as confident though because of all the mistakes and because of the rain and stuff. But I was excited when we came back out and we actually started having some things go our way. The turnovers started coming our way. A couple of the penalties started coming our way. Finally, there could have been a whole heck of a lot more called.
Oh, man.
I won't even get into that. But I mean, the holding calls non-calls were ridiculous. But we're literally screaming at the field, like holding. But I felt the momentum shift, and luckily, when you have Josh as the quarterback, it's a lot easier to feel confident about the comeback.
Like I said, it's coming to a point, right? And we're going to talk about this a little later in the show about when you have that guy, and you just said it perfectly, Sarah. When you have Josh Allen, you just expect this now. 20-3, they'll come back. Down 20-10, they'll come back. He's going to keep chugging away, keep plugging away. But at some point, somehow, some way, 17 is going to get the job done. And that right there is the epitome of a franchise quarterback. And I know that's one of the topics that we want to talk about, and as far as the fear factor, because when you go back to that game, one of the calls that we're always going to remember is John Harbaugh choosing not to kick the field goal with 4 minutes left on 4th and goal because Josh Allen's on the side of that football field. And that's the type of effect that he's having. But overall, I thought that the game was they definitely started off flat, which didn't surprise me. Coming off a grueling game like they played against Miami in that weather, you don't just recover from that in a couple of days. You don't just wake up from that, especially in that type of heat, cramps, dehydration. Hell, it takes about 2 to 3 days just to get hydrated again, let alone go play another game versus a tough team, and honestly, not great weather.
Yeah.
The defense started off a little bit slow. I thought as the game went on, they started sniffing out all of Baltimore's runs. They started sniffing out those RPOs. Those defensive backs are breaking on passes a lot faster. They got into their groove, and when they got into the groove, it was over for the Ravens. It was shut down city. You were getting no rushing yards, you were getting no passing yards, and then they were bracketing Lamar Jackson where he couldn't get out the pocket. And this is the third time we played him, and I say this is probably the third time that we played him extremely well. James, anything on our defensive performance from this football game?
Our defense is balling, man. We'll get more into it later in the show. So I don't want to get too far ahead, but they're balling. I think they step up. They make plays. The addition of Von Miller. There's no stat sheet in the world can tell you how valuable he is to this defense and what he brought. He literally changed the whole dynamic of this defense. His presence alone. If he don't get no more sacks the rest of the season, his presence alone has made this defense better, period. His leadership, that veteran leadership you talk about, the work ethic, you can just tell Rousseau is a different dude. He's a different cat. So our defense stepped up. But on the Baltimore end, they got to get Lamar Jackson some more help, period. They got to get him some more help on offense.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. They ain't going to be getting him a whole lot of help with that contract they about to pay him because he ain't going to leave nothing left. I can tell you that right now because him and his mama, and no disrespect to him, they are taking no shorts.
I don't blame him. With no help, he shouldn't.
No. Well, I mean, with no help, you ain't going to get any help either. You're going to be like Russell Wilson in Seattle. But, hey, to each his own. We got our guy locked up for about $40 million, probably about $10 million to $15 million cheaper than what he should be. I'll take it. Sarah, defense, Buffalo, what do you think?
Well, first I'm going to say I don't think Baltimore made the wrong decision on going for it. I think that when you have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback and it's 4th and 2, you go for it. I was surprised they passed. I honestly was. I figured that they were going to do, some type of play action or, keep the ball in his hands. I was surprised that they passed. I was thankful that they passed. But our defense, the second half, and I think I tweeted out the other day, our defense has been crazy in the second half. We've allowed 7 points, and that was against Miami all second half, all year. Every other game, it's been 0 points. So, it's a testament to what these guys are doing. And we're not even healthy yet. So I can't wait until we get healthy. But you guys, we have people coming in, like Bryant and, freaking Amelie, people who are, these depth players that are like, going off and being, acting like they could be starting on other teams. So it just goes to show, I think, again, like, James was saying, it's kind of a Von Miller effect. He doesn't need to have it in the stat sheets. He's on the field. And when he's on the field, everyone else wants to step up.
It's funny because I believe OBJ tweeted during this game, I don't know if it was this game or last game, that Von Miller is really goated on the field and off the field. Now, I was telling James earlier this week, we all know about his accolades on the football field and how good of a pass rusher he is. And honestly, when he finished the game, he may be the greatest pass rusher to ever played. Let's be honest with you. I mean, I don't think he'll get to the sack records because we do know there was a couple years missed in the middle of his career there, with injuries and that such. But the dude is simply unstoppable. There's not a point in time in Von Miller's career where we said he was stopped. The year we said he was slowing down, he had like 11 sacks, which for Buffalo, we haven't seen 11 sacks since the original cold front. Okay, so we may have 11 sacks in the season possibly, but
I think we'll have 2 players with more than.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because Greg Rousseau's at what, 4.5 now?
4. Well,
Yeah.
it depends on where you look. If you look at certain stats, have them at 4. Some have them at 4.5 because they gave him a full sack on Sunday.
Wait, we gonna give him the full. We gonna give him the full on here. A little biased, but no, I mean the effect of Von Miller is real, and it's not like I said. We talked about this last week. The effect on not only just Rousseau, but Boogie Basham and Epinesa. It's the confidence level that he's bringing to this defense to say, hey, Von's on the other side, we're good. No Micah Hyde, we're good. We talked about this last week. You can't replace Micah Hyde with any safety in this league just about. There's very few safeties in this league you can replace him with. And those ones you can, we won't be able to get our hands on, not today or not tomorrow. But you replace him with the pass rush. And that's exactly what I think we're doing. Either way, man, I mean, I thought the defense played great. Great performance by Tremaine Edmunds. He's making it difficult. He's looking to get paid. You had a first-round pick on the field, across the field from Patrick Queen, that the Ravens fans pretty much dogged after that game. So once again, Bills Mafia, be a little bit thankful for having Tremaine Edmunds. He's not as bad as people have said he is over the years. He's not bad at all, in my opinion.
He never was.
No.
Uh-oh.
Because what people do, and I said it multiple times on this show, what people do is they look at his measurables. They look at him as 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds, and runs a 4.5, 4.4. And they think he's supposed to be the best linebacker to ever play football. They have these expectations like they playing Madden. And they think he's just supposed to fly around, run everybody over, make every single tackle. It's unrealistic. Step into reality, leave the video games and fantasy football alone. He's a very good NFL linebacker. He's never going to be amazing, right? He's never going to be just that elite, that guy, right? Where you like the best linebacker in the league. But he's going to consistently be a Pro Bowl linebacker. He's going to make 8 to 10 Pro Bowls in his career.
Oh, yeah. He's already got what? What does he have technically right now?
2? Is he at 2?
Technically. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to go Pro Bowls, but I mean, he have a couple flag football games since they cut it out now. Yeah. Sarah, do you think that, and we're going to, this brings us right to our topic, because I don't know if you guys saw it, but Dan Orlovsky said the other day he felt like Tremaine Edmunds and Matt Milano were the NFL's best linebacking duo. Do you think Tremaine gets not enough credit for how good he is, and do you think Milano gets too much credit, or should we really start looking at these guys as a pair in a duo?
I think it's kind of goes hand in hand with how we looked at, Hyde and Poyer. They're both great separately, but together, they can be considered the best safety duo. And I think it's the same thing with the way Edmunds and Milano has been playing. I think that, before this year, yeah, they're both good separately, but the way they're playing together, but I think it's all as a team right now. I know I've seen a couple of the comments come up about the defensive tackle play and everything. That's exactly where I think it is. And then you have, Rousseau and you have Von Miller on the ends killing it, and like I said, you have these depth players coming in and still, doing everything that they need to do in the middle, which is, helping out Milano and Edmunds. I know someone tweeted out, and I don't know who it was, so I feel bad not giving him credit, but they kind of broke down how Bryant at the end of the game in the fourth quarter at the last stop, he absorbed 3 tackles at the same time as he's doing that. Edmunds is plugging up the middle, and then Milano's literally completely off the play, and he goes around the side and he's making the tackle for basically for a loss, and that was huge. It was literally the reason why we won the game. This is Bryant, who is one of our depth players who's taking on 3 defenders in order to do it. So I think that it's kind of a combination of everybody's, playing their role. But now, because everyone is playing their role and we have the right people, in my opinion, in the middle, it's opening it up for Edmunds and Milano to be the best. And I know there's a little bit of topic of whether or not it's the guys out in Dallas, but I think that these guys can overtake that by the end of the year.
Biggest thing about the boys in Dallas is we haven't seen them perform when the pressure was online. And nothing against them. I mean, them boys in Dallas, they play some football. And don't be wrong, the other part of it is they don't have number 17 at quarterback. They got number 4. And I'm not, I like Dak, but he's not exactly.
Right now they got Cooper Rush. So.
Right. He ain't exactly 17. But no, I don't think these guys get enough credit. You figure since 2020 and 2022, these guys have combined for 411 tackles, 278 solo tackles, 35 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, 21 QB hits, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. Okay, that's not chump change. Both of these guys play a role, and as you said, Sarah, you can't have one without the other. We've seen that. We've seen games where we had Edmunds without Milano. He doesn't actually look right without Milano. And we've seen times where we had Milano without Edmunds. He doesn't look right without Edmunds. They are a pair and they play off each other. And they work very well. They work very well with each other. I don't think they're the best duo in the league, because I'm still going to give that title to Levante David and Devin White over there in Tampa for as much as they do. Because them two boys over there, they rush the passer. They can cover man-to-man. They can cover zone. They cause a lot of havoc. But I'm not going to put Edmunds and Milano that far behind them. And I really have to go through all duos in the league to find a pair that will come in second place over these two. So, I don't know. I mean, I love him. I mean, I think Dan Orlovsky is on to something with this. But at the end of the day, when it comes to this, Milano has his contract, right?
Yep.
Edmunds, and James, you've been saying it all along, Edmunds is going to cost a bag.
They should have been
at the end of the season.
They should have paid him. I hate to keep saying to JT, we got receipts. Just like when I said with Josh Allen, pay him. Just get it over with. Pay him.
Figure it out.
They should have did it. They should have paid him. They should have paid him last year. Now that price has gone up, $3 to $5 million easy.
Yeah.
And every week,
Oliver too.
Yep, it's gonna go up more and more and more. Every week it's gonna go up, and then Ed Oliver's coming up too. They should have been paid that dude, man.
Sarah, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, with the way Tremaine Edmunds is playing currently, if you had to give an extension at this very moment to Ed Oliver or Tremaine Edmunds, which one would you give it to?
Right now,
Edmunds.
Right now, Edmunds, because I feel like we have enough depth at D tackle that we would be fine. And he kind of, he's the play caller on defense right now. So I personally think it's harder to teach all that over again. So I would give it to Edmunds. But I think that the question is going to become 3 people. It's going to be between Edmunds, Poyer, and Oliver, and what 2 can we potentially figure out how to extend.
And that's a good question, because that leads us right into a good point. I'm not questioning. It leads us to our next topic. That guy, Jordan Poyer, number 21, who just seems to be getting better and better and better every time we see him. And with every tweet from Bills Mafia says, "Oh, let him go. We don't want him. We can find better." Oh, guess what? Micah Hyde went down. And you were scared, what less, because Jordan was out, and now you didn't know what to do without both of them. Well, Jordan is playing probably the best ball of his career right now, and he's going to earn every penny of that contract that he's almost forcing, in my opinion, Brandon Beane to write the check. So far this season for Jordan Poyer, 12 tackles, 3 interceptions, of tackle for loss. He's absolutely crushing it.
I think he has 4 interceptions.
Huh? 4 interceptions. Is it 4?
Yes. I think he's at 4.
He
had 2 last game, and then 2 previous, and then the game he missed.
Then it's 4.
think it's
Then
4.
it's 4.
Don't quote me, but I think it's 4.
I think it's 4.
No, you're right. It is 4. And let's not forget the 6 pass deflections he also has this year. Okay. So now Brandon Beane is on the spot. It's a guy, he had a mini holdout for mini camp. He comes back. He still put the C on him, on his jersey, which means he's still doing his job. He's still coming up his business as usual. He wants to get paid. He locks in. He has 4 interceptions through your first 4 games. The dude's on pace for double-digit interceptions, and now he's also switched positions. He's playing a little bit of free. He's playing a little strong. And we don't know if Micah Hyde is ever going to suit up in the Bills uniform again, or any uniform, for that matter of fact, with that neck injury. How much pressure is on Brandon Beane to possibly get a short-term 2-year extension done with Jordan Poyer? Sarah, I'm going to come to you first on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the pressure's been on. I feel like he knows he needs to get it done. I think he was hoping that, he could kind of figure out a lower price tag, but the way he's playing, and I think that he has every motivation in the world to continue to play the way he, has been. I don't know if you guys saw Pat McAfee gave him another, challenge that if he got, I think it was 12 or 13, that he would donate $1 million. But I mean, I honestly think that he is one of the people on the defense that we can't lose. I think that we need to get him. I'm hoping we can do like a 3-year, like 41-ish is what I tweeted.
Okay.
Towards the beginning of the year, but price tag's probably going up a little bit. But I don't think 13 to 14 million a year is out of the range of what he's worth. And I don't even think he actually, I think he threatened to sit out of camp, and then he ended up going there, and he still ended up suiting up and practicing with all the guys. So I love his work ethic and the way he is. And I mean, like I said, I honestly think that I would right now, if I had to choose 2 of the 3, I would say Poyer and Edmunds are the 2 that I'd be extending. And that's no diss on Oliver. I love Oliver, but I just feel like he's a little bit more replaceable right now.
We have a lot of depth in that defensive line. It makes a lot of sense. Mallory, Oliver, or Edmunds, man. I know you. I never opponent get them both paid. I mean, and would you sneak Poyer in there?
I think it's possible to do all 3.
Really? Okay. You got
it'd be very difficult, but I think Micah Hyde is going to retire, unfortunately. If he retires, that's going to free up some money.
That's $6 million he frees up, technically.
Yeah. So you free up that $6 million, and you pay, and you put another 6 with that. Just say 12. Make it easy math. You pay Poyer 12 for just say 2 years. Just throw it out there. Edmunds, I think, is a no-brainer. I've been saying it for the last 3 seasons. You can't name 10 middle linebackers that's better than him. You don't just let guys like that walk out the door. And why I think you can extend Oliver, but I think it's up in the air now. Why? Tim Settle.
Okay.
Tim Settle. And then Jordan Phillips. If you can continue to sign him on low market deals, if you got those 2 and you can draft a couple guys, unfortunately, Ed Oliver, you can play this season and next season with him on his contracts, and then he's going to probably walk in that situation because Ed Oliver is going to get $100 million contract. Somebody's going to pay him $100 million. And I just don't think the Bills will do it. So you got Tim. You can sign Tim Settle. He got a 2-year deal. So him and Ed Oliver is going to be up at the same time. You could probably sign him for $5 to $7 million, 3-year deal, right? Jordan Phillips can be a rotational guy for you. I love the energy he brings. Daquan Jones, he's up in 2 years as well. And then they're going to draft the guy next year, 100%. They're going to draft the guy first 3 rounds. They're going to draft a D tackle. And I mean, you just probably won't pay him. I mean, it's not that they won't want to. It just won't really be a reason to pay him $100 million. So that's how I kind of look at it. So I think, you're going to extend Poyer. You're going to draft the first round. First and second round is going to be a safety. and then you're gonna roll like that.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I posted Twitter and this was a while back, so I'll have to go try to fact check myself. But I think I said I wanted a 3-year extension for Poyer. And I think at around it was like 12 million, like 30, about 3-year extension, maybe about 34 million, 32 million, something like that, with maybe like 18 or 20 guaranteed. I thought that was a fair number. And I tell you the truth, I don't even think the number for Poyer is at this point. I don't think that this little tiff or rift, I don't think it had to do anything to do with the dollar amount so much. I think it more or less had to do with, hey, this is my last contract, probably my last long term. I'm trying to get this thing locked in for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more or less that than it was, hey, I want to be the highest paid safety in the league. I want to be 15 because I don't think Poyer, he doesn't have that type of attitude.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is a guy who really, when you really think about it, even though he accepted that badass contract that the Bills gave him, and we can all say or admit that was a bad deal he took. He took it, but it was his fault. He had the right to sit out camp. He had the right to sit out training camp. He had the right to not show up to week 1 of the season where, like TJ Watts and some of these other players did, because he's played at that all-pro level. The fact that the guy loves football this much, he chose not to. Yep. He's still going to be a leader by example. And I don't think we give him enough credit for that. He ain't saying nothing. He's letting his play do the talking. And he just saved your ass versus Baltimore. Because Duvernay was wide open in the back of that end zone. If he catches that ball, we may be talking about a different story today. We may be talking about why the Bills are 2-2 and how do we rebound versus the Steelers.
Panic mode for some fans.
Yeah, and that would not be a very good conversation for any of us to have. So, like I said, Jordan Porter deserves a lot of credit, and I think with the Micah Hyde situation up, I think Bean needs to get that deal done sooner than later, if I was him. Like you said, just price tags can go up and up. Because if you let a guy like that hit the market, a guy who's been all-pro, a guy who is playing at the best level of his career, but also a guy who brings culture, there's going to be teams ready to sweep him up, especially teams right in your division.
Yep.
The Jets, Miami, or the Patriots jump right in there for Jordan Poyer.
Oh, yeah.
So you better tread lightly with that one. Sure, very lightly. But no, man, shout out to All Pro Poe, as my man Jay Spencer called him, and yeah. So moving on to
he's just a baller, man. That's all I wanted to add. He's a baller, man. I really like Jordan Poyer game and what he bring. He bring that dog, and I think that's very important. But Hamlin was balling too.
Oh, shout out to Hamlin. Yeah, DeMar Hamlin played.
I like what he
well.
brought to the game on Saturday or Sunday. Excuse me. I think season go on. Yeah,
they may have one. Sarah, you think real quick? What you got anything on DeMar? What you think about it?
No, I mean, I think Hamlin and Johnson are both stepping up at certain times. I think that they both have misses. And if I rewatched the game the other day, and I saw a couple of the misses and whatnot, but I think that rotationally, them both coming in, I think we're going to do fine.
I'm still a proponent where I'm watching the Raiders very closely. Because even though I like the way Hamlin is playing, to me, this is almost an all or nothing year. You need to go sign Odell Beckham more than normal at this point in time with Isaiah McKenzie sustaining a concussion and Jamison Crowder breaking his ankle.
He's not ready.
No, that's fine. No, we can wait. I'm not saying it right now. I'm just saying that, hey, we need to be on the phone with him. Hey, where he at? When he can run, he needs to be running at one Bills drive, getting ready when that time comes, when he's ready to go that route. But I'm looking at the Raiders very closely because I still would like to have a veteran in that safety core going into the playoffs. And there's one name that I keep looking at, and that's Jonathan Abram. He has 1 year left on his deal in Vegas. I think it's about $3 or $4 million left on it.
That's it.
And
That's all, 3 or 4 million.
No, that's all he got left. Yeah, he got about $4 million left on that deal.
Okay.
And I'm just looking for a rental guy who's a veteran, who's up in the box, and a veteran that's up in the box. Because when we get to the playoffs, we may have to play teams like Cleveland if Deshaun Watson come back and they can sustain it. If the Colts rebound, which they probably won't. We may have to play them. The Denver rebound. I mean, they don't have Javonte Williams. We may have to play them. We may have to play some running teams, and I like to have a guy who's more of a thumper that could play up in the box since we don't have the combination of Poyer and Hyde for the rest of the season. And Jonathan Abram was a guy that I'm really keen in on because I'm like, if Vegas keeps struggling, that's probably a guy we could pick off them for about a fifth-round pick. And I rent them. I gladly take that. Then you'll still have Hamlin and Johnson and Poyer. So that's just a guy that that I'm looking at there.
Well, they're going to make a move at safety. They're going to make a move. It's only 3 safeties on the roster. Right. It's 100% fact they're going to make a move at safety. When? We don't know, but they are going to make a move at safety. We just don't know when.
Yeah. Well, that's the guy that I'm targeting. Now, past this year, and I've been saying this, and I want you guys' opinion on this, right? I'm looking at this secondary, and James, we talk about this every day, it seems like, right? And I keep going over it. And I've seen the stupid post on Twitter saying, what if the Bills trade Trey White? Which I think is absolute asinine, and I'm not even going to entertain it. I shouldn't even mention it, but I did. And I keep looking at Elam, and I'm looking at Benford, and I'm looking at Trey White. And I'm not saying, hey, we have too many corners. I'm looking at the realm of possibility of what we could do with our secondary. And what I'm saying is, I would like to move Teron Johnson to strong safety next year. I think that position would suit him better. I think that he's an up-in-the-box cornerback that his best attribute is attacking the line of scrimmage and stopping run plays. Now, coverage, especially man that slot, listen, man, Teron's my guy, but he get a little bit shaky in man coverage. Like every time I look around, there's a gap in there between him and the receiver. But I think similar to Aaron Williams, if you put him at safety and you put everything in front of him, this dude may be a Pro Bowler at that position because he reads things and reacts extremely well. Just a thought there. And I put Trey White, depending on the matchup, in the nickel. If we're playing some team like the Patriots or something like that, where that matchup is most likely going to be in the slot, the key guy, I'm manning Trey up in the slot now. And I'm going to put the two bigger guys, athletic guys, Elam and Bedford, on the outsides. Just my thought on that.
I'm trusting. I don't know. I like Trey on that outside. If you were to do something like that, I'm trusting Benford or Elam in the slot. Elam is very, very physical.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's one of them guys that may be able to play in the slot. Or Benford, I think he's going to be a star.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a star. I really do. I think we hit the jackpot with both of those this year. But, that's interesting. That's a great thing we got going on here. We got 3 really, really good corners, and we cannot forget about Dane. The man can ball.
Dane.
He may be trade based. Somebody would give you a 4th, 5th round pick for him.
He's a starting quarterback of the league. Sarah?
100%.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that during the summer, they had actually, they were kind of cross-training Benford as well as safety. So I know that that's an option as well. I think there's no way to go wrong here. We have we were all worried about our secondary, and now I feel like we almost have too many stars out there. But I think it's all a combination, and I can't wait till Trey comes back. And then we have Rhodes now as well. That's going to be stepping in, and we could see where he's at. So I don't doubt that there is going to be potential trades out there, which sucks because I hate mid-season trades when you have a favorite on a team. But it's all about getting who we need to get, especially like you said, it's this year. I feel like it's a boom or bust year. If I've always I've said it at the beginning, even before the season started. I feel like it's Super Bowl or bust this year. So you got to get the people that you need.
Oh, it's definitely Super Bowl or bust. It's probably Super Bowl or bust for like the next 3 years now. I want to go back to a point, and I just thought about something. Another reason I think that I would take Edmunds' extension over Oliver, Boogie Basham. Because when you really think about it, Ed Oliver was drafted to put pressure on the quarterback. Now, mind you, he's solid. He's solid in the run game. But you have a little bit better run game when you have Jordan Phillips and Tim Settle, which I'm agreeing with you, Derek James. It's a little bit more beef there. But on third downs, if you're putting Boogie Basham inside, or even we've seen Rosu inside, you can afford to let Ed Oliver go at that point in time if you're going to be doing that type of NASCAR formation. So just want to go back and touch on that point. I think that's something that we should probably look at.
Rousseau gonna be coming up sooner, we think too.
Oh, they better do Rousseau sooner. They better do Rousseau by next season, or it's going to cost you a whole lot of money. I think Rousseau's going to line up with Von Miller because I think eventually
it does. It lines up perfect. It's exactly how it's lined up.
So you might well just put that money to the side because he's going to take that 120 next. So, one of the other things I wanted to get to tonight before we get off here. Actually, you know what? It's actually time for Sarah. You haven't been on the show yet when we've done actually bad takes. You have not been on the show yet for that.
I guess I have not. No.
All right. So, as everybody knows, we love to do this thing we call bad takes. And this week, your Bills' bad takes were from halftime of the Bills game. And if you guys are unfamiliar with this, we find the worst takes and we put them out there. So bad take number 1, week 4 Buffalo? Yeah, week 4 Buffalo Bills. First one, I think it's you guys, I don't know. Y'all playing like prairie patties. Shake off that craptastic Miami loss already and get back to your business. You're better than this. Let's go Buffalo. Now, obviously, most people, I have never heard the word craptastic, but I will forever keep that in my dictionary. Bad take number 2 of the week. Our coaching staff has no clue about situational football, and they do not prepare our players correctly for these games. Now, mind you, we've only played the AFC Championship game the year before last year, lost in 13 seconds to the AFC divisional team, and we've pretty much won the AFCs the last 2 years, and we're probably going back. But we are never prepared by Sean McDermott. So just remember that, guys. Sean McDermott, ladies and gentlemen, please get us prepared because this person said you don't do it. Even though we're Super Bowl favorites, but hey, it is what it is. Bad take number 3 was just simple. Halftime of the game, the team should just head back to Buffalo. Get on the plane, go back. It's over. They've lost. God, good riddance, Buffalo. I'm not a fan anymore, probably. Bad take number 4. And final bad take, James. Drum roll, please.
Boom.
I'm a Miami fan, but rooting for the Bills division partners. The Bills fan responds, that doesn't make any sense. I was very happy when you lost on Thursday with a smiley face emoji. Why you gotta be so damn mean?
Salty. I like it.
Why you gotta be mean?
I like it. I'm petty.
But that is your bad takes for the week. But I tell you what, Sarah, you went viral this week.
Yeah. God, thank you. Yes.
You went viral this week. I need full explanation of what was going on in this picture.
Well, you are not posting the picture. I hate you right now.
I need to know.
Thank you very much.
What was going on in this
Jeremy.
picture?
You can take it down now. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, there was a row of Bills fans. It wasn't just me and Jay Spence. It was, stuff. There was Dan, Freddie, Lee, Sean. We were all in a row together. Okay. 2 more people at the end. We were just kind of in shock. It was at a point where I think it was 20-3 at that point.
Okay.
The rain was coming down a little bit harder. I was freezing, but regardless, LeSean's sitting there screaming at the sideline. He's telling to get people out of the game. We were in shock at that moment. We were not expecting to, have 2 turnovers. I mean, we literally won the coin toss and chose to receive the ball because we were that cocky. We had 8 games straight that we scored, first with, it's, you feel yourself, and then you get out there in the freaking first drive, there's a turnover. Then the next time you get the ball, another turnover. It was just shock, I think, in that moment. And I was cold. I don't care what anybody says. The rain wasn't that bad, but I was cold. I did not prepare enough for that coldness. So I was just miserable. And, again, the second that picture, or the video went up, my phone's blowing up like crazy. Like, you can at least smile when you're on camera. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And then, of course, my great friend Garrett has to put that on Twitter. This is how every Bills fan feels right now, which is true. That's how everybody felt in that moment. But yeah. So, yes, I will be forever memorialized with that freaking snapshot now. Thank you.
Hey, you know what? It's gonna pop up again. They're gonna lose a game this year, and that's gonna pop up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do a Cindy. I'm not gonna
Just head over to my Facebook, you'll see it. I posted it on there.
I see it. I said, wow. I mean, but to get the focus on CBS, that's great, though. I mean, let's be honest. That's really, it's really.
I had a great seat, though. I'll be honest. Yeah. I was, 40
yards. Great seats all year. You've been damn near on the bench. You could got a cup of water and Gatorade before like McDermott.
Yeah, but this was like front row, 40-yard line. It was amazing seats, and I actually, sidetrack, but I love that stadium.
Was it nice?
Baltimore is a pretty dope stadium. So.
Okay. How was the food out there?
I mean, I didn't really eat much. So, I drank a little too much. That's a whole nother story, but.
Well, in Bill's Mafia, we tend to do so. That's okay. It's accepted. It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
But no, that was great, though. It was good to, like I said, that's pretty cool, though. Regardless of if it's the picture you want, that's pretty freaking cool. Let's be honest. So, I hope you get on more camera time. I hope you get on camera when they win the Super Bowl and host the trophy.
I hope I can afford to go to the Super Bowl so I can watch that trophy.
Yeah, they go there. We all swiping cards.
Yeah,
we calling bankers, creditors. We swiping
3 credit cards. A little bit on here, a little bit on here.
That's it. A little bit here, a little bit there. Hell, Bills Mafia. If you think they're gonna go to the Super Bowl, start saving up now.
Yeah,
you got about 20 weeks right now. Start saving up now. Something like that. You can start saving up now. Just saying. Yeah. Start a vacation fund. But no, guys, we want to take a couple of fan questions. So if you got a couple questions, go ahead and before we get to our final takes and drop them in. Let's see here. We had a couple questions here that I want to answer. Let's see. I know Cody Wells had one. Cody always asks good questions every week. But Cody Wells says, okay, for that price, could the trade deadline move Jonathan Abram? I think if the Raiders continue to fall off, I think either him or Deron Harmon. We can't forget that Deron Harmon's over in Raiders too with 1 year deal. I think either one of those guys could be had for like a 6th round pick, especially on 1 year deals. Like neither one of those guys are just absolutely outstanding. Harmon's more of a veteran that can play free safety that would allow Jordan Porter to move back to the strong safety position. But if you brought Abram in, that gives you someone completely just going to help your run game 110%. So that's a move for me. Matter of fact, is there any moves that you guys think that you would like to see the team make? James, is there anybody that you see, or you, Sarah, after James?
Not right now, to be honest with you. One person I could see them in a surprise move if they really wanted a person is AJ.
AJ
Epinesa.
You think trading them away?
I could see them trading him away if it's somebody they really want on another team.
Oh, for player.
Yeah, I could see him being trade bait. Especially how well Shaq Lawson's playing. I could see them maybe trading him because eventually you won't be able to pay him and Boogie Basham. He's probably going to be the odd man out when the contract. They're not going to re-sign him. Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead, James.
No, just saying that's mine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking down the line. I feel like we're going to definitely need a wide receiver eventually. Yeah. Especially if the injuries keep on happening. I'm definitely a fan of Odell and bringing him on, but I hate that everyone's talking about it now. I hate it. Like, I'm like, guys, he's not even gonna be ready till probably December. So it's just like, stop talking about it now. But I'm actually excited to see some of our guys that we have step up. I want to, I would like to even see like Hodgins come up, be called up this week and see if he can actually, get any game time. It'll be interesting. I think that Isaiah should probably clear concussion protocols though. So,
you just brought me on a point. We didn't talk about Shakir. What are you thinking? What are you expecting from him stepping in for these injuries?
Yeah, I got a little nervous that he was, inactive the first game. The second game, he I believe he had 2 targets, but he didn't catch anything. Granted it was fourth quarter, and it wasn't I don't believe it was Allen that was quarterback at the time. But I think he stepped up, and he made both catches this week. So I think that it was probably a good thing that he was able to make those catches. I think that it probably got him out of his own head. I read something the other day, an interview right after the game, that he said he was literally thinking of everything. He was all in his head. He was talking about his cleats and whether or not he should wear his gloves. And then he was just like, screw it. Go out and play the game. Get out of your own freaking head. And made 2 clutch catches. So I think that, those 2, I think, they literally help secure the game. So I think that having those two receptions will probably lead him into feeling more confident, because I think he's going to be used a lot more this week.
Yeah. As we have some interaction in the chat here, I guess Leroy Muddog Winslow says he's going to have his wife make an OnlyFans page and have his wife sell foot videos to get that Super Bowl ticket money up. And Cindy tells him, let's talk to our Rex Ryan about that. I guess get some advice on that. you never know what the hell they gonna say here.
Man.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the whole feet pick thing for money for the Super Bowl. It's an option.
You missed last year. We were playing matchmaker on here for a couple weeks last year.
Oh,
It was crazy. It was insane. Let's see. Get to another question here. Joshua Torres says, please let me know if Moss is a waste of time and why we think he's gonna smash through the line like JT. Now, James, this is more of a topic for you. You're a running back of the crew. Obviously, I am not. So, I mean, you can elaborate on this Zach Moss thing. And, like I said, I'll talk about it a little bit from what my thinking is, but you go ahead.
Zach Moss frustrates me because he's so talented. He can be a really, really, really good football player. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, it's just not clicking. He has moments, but it's just, this is one of the most frustrating things for me, especially being a running back. Dude chiseled up. He can move. He has good feet. He can catch. He can block. It's like, dude, you got it. Like, let's get this thing going here. And it's very frustrating because, of all those things, but Devin Singletary is definitely the best back on the team. And it's getting to the point now I want to see what Duke Johnson got. I'm getting so frustrated with Zach Moss. I'm thinking at some point in time, he's going to be a surprise inactive. So just be prepared for that within the next few weeks. Zach Moss may be a surprise inactive, and Duke Johnson may get a call up.
Yeah. So my thinking is this. I just think that in the system and the platoon that we run at running back, right? I think he's one of those backs. I think he's a volume back. That's what I tend to feel. Like, there's certain backs, and I feel like those backs who can come in and spell your starter with 5, maybe 6 touches and actually have 5, 6 productive touches. I think those type of guys are special. Like the Nyheim Hines, like the Duke Johnsons over their careers. It's almost like having a 6-man in basketball. You could come off the bench cold and you could score 20.
Yeah, I get it. I'm sorry, Jason. I mean to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
But the thing is about that, I get that volume. Devin Singletary's that. He get better with more carries.
Right.
But the thing is this. The misses and the miscues that he's having in the carries he got, that's unacceptable. Rhythm doesn't fix that. That's just bad. It's just bad. It's just bad. That's just bad football, right? Just missing cuts and missing certain seams. No matter, that's not rhythm. That's just bad. You know what I mean? Them type of guys usually get, like, a rhythm guy is a guy who you give them the ball, they're still productive, carry 1 through 8. But once they really get in the rhythm, they really get flowing, carries 9 through 15, right? But that 1 through 8 isn't just not productive. His 1 through 8 is just not productive. No. Outside of that 43-yard run he had this year, it's just not productive. It's not good football. You can't miss reads. You can't miss certain you got to capitalize. That's just bad football.
Well, let me ask this question. How far do we go back to the lack of volume caused me to read. I mean, because if I look at it like this, right? If you know you're going to get 4 carries in a game, and that's what we're saying he's getting, it's 4 carries in a game.
Mhm.
On one end of the spectrum, you say, hey, I'm going to make the most out of these 4 carries to try to get myself to 6 or 8. But on the other hand, I want to say, with the 4 carries I get, how much pressure is it on me to perform in these 4 carries? Because, hey, maybe I'm thinking about being put inactive. Maybe I'm thinking about getting traded. Maybe I'm thinking about a lot of this. Because now I'm looking at this running game as a whole, and we're sliding right back into the goddamn hole that we were in the last couple of years with our running game, including Devin, where even when Devin is giving you 48 yards on 8 carries, we're not running with him.
My thing is this.
I'm sorry.
From what you were saying in regards to things in his head and what that could be, right? You're saying like it could be with those 4 carries, you think about, okay, I need to do this, I might be inactive. You can't be a professional athlete now. You can't be. That's simple. Because professional football is the most stressful job in the world. The NFL, you can literally be cut tomorrow with nothing. What other sport or what other job you can just be let go tomorrow just because? Right? NBA, those guaranteed contracts. They're not just going to it's going to be a reason, right? So you got to have really thick skin and you got to be strong up here. So if that's the case, you're just not that guy then. If you are thinking that way and it's affecting your performance, you're not that guy. Is that something?
Makes sense. Sarah?
Yeah, no, my concern is I don't think Cook looks any better either. So I feel like we have, 2 potentially great players that could step up and they're just not. And I think other than the first game where, Cook towards the end of the game was just given the ball. And now I don't even think it was the first game. I think it was the second game against Tennessee. The whole fourth quarter was Cook. Other than that, it really has been all Singletary. So I'm almost like, stop bringing the other guys in unless it's, a change of pace, and just keep on feeding Singletary. It frustrates me to take him out and when the other guys just aren't rolling. And, Cook doesn't look ready. He looks nervous every time he goes out there. Like he's, and then, it's unfortunate, but some of his body language just frustrates the heck out of me because, he'll miss a catch and then he'll look at his hands and be like, or want to blame somebody else. Or when he fumbled, he was like, I was down. It's not productive. I feel like he needs maybe a little bit of a dose of reality, or we need to inactivate one of them, whether it's Moss or Cook, and let there just be the 2 and go back and forth between the 2. And if we need, some type of, change, you have, Gilliam, out there or something, I don't know, but I don't think it's working with all 3.
I'm sorry. I'm rude.
Go ahead. No, you good. Go ahead.
But you gotta understand what type of back James Cook is. He's never going to be a back that you can just hand the ball to. If we look at what he's not his brother. Not saying Sarah, you saying he is his brother, but he's always going to be that. He's Reggie Bush his rookie year in New Orleans. That's who he is. That's exactly who he is. And you see when Reggie Bush had 1 or 2 productive years as an actual running back, he's never going to be that. He's always going to be that other. He's always going to be. When last year when I was asking for the Bills to draft a weapon, that's what I was talking about. Him, he's a weapon. He's not a running back. He's not a slot. He's a weapon. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up at running back, and he's going to be a weapon. Now, we, as fans, are expecting him to get 10, 15 carries on the line, be our main back. We're going to be disappointed because that's never going to be him.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you guys here. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I would never looked at him as like your normal running back, though. I've always looked at him as he's going to be the guy kind of, where J.D. McKissick was supposed to be. He's going to be the guy coming out of the backfield to catch the short passes. Yep. He's just not catching them. The screens, the screens and everything else. He's not being effective. And it's hurting us at the wrong times. So
I got this feeling right here, right? I got this feeling that the Bills want Zach Moss to take off for the simple fact is they don't want to re-sign Devin Singletary this year to a deal because that complicates the conversations that we had earlier. with Ed Oliver, with Tremaine Edmunds, with Jordan Poyer. It further complicates those things, especially when you just gave Dawson Knox $54 million. I actually think James Cook is going to be our starting back moving forward past this season. And the reason I think that it's going to work here in Buffalo is the fact that I don't think we'll ever require him to carry 20 times a game. Right now, even if he got the same touches that Devin Singletary is getting now, it works for his skill set. And that's really, let's be honest with you, that's 9 carries and 5 catches right now. That's what Devin Singletary is pretty much getting the game. That works for Cook's skill set. And the reason I think that Cook is going to be a little bit more than what we think he's going to be is because of his brother. The offseason training program they have. I think he's going to turn more into Dalvin than we think he is. Now, I don't think he's ever going to be the runner that Dalvin is. Dalvin's just natural.
They train with Devin Singletary down the line.
Yes, they do. Dalvin, Devin, and James train together. Mm-hmm. So I don't think he's ever going to be the back that his brother is, but I think he's going to be exactly the back that Buffalo wants on a rookie deal for the next 3 years. And I think Buffalo's plan is hopefully we can pair Zach Moss with him to be that change of pace back. But if you're not getting production, obviously going to be changed there. Personally, I don't know if Zach fits here in Buffalo. Because like I said, I don't think he's a back that you can could come in and give him 4 carries a game and then expect him to be productive. I just don't see it. I don't see him as that type of back. I feel like everything has to be in rhythm with him. I think he's pretty much based off rhythm. If his rhythm is off, then all those small nuances that you said James is a running back, they're not going to work. We got to remember, Zach has not played the running back position for a long time. He didn't grow up playing running back as even a little league. Zach was a linebacker. He didn't even, matter of fact, to be honest with you, he didn't even know that he could even be picked up as a running back. I don't think he played running back to his junior year of high school. So this is a guy who really only been playing the position really for about 5 years now, 6 years going on now. And I'm not saying he can't pick it up, but I'm just trying to add everything into it, right? Plus this is a guy where when you put Zach Moss in the football game, right? We all know where the damn ball's going. You know why he probably broke that 43-yarder versus Miami? Because he broke that shit back outside. And they said, uh-oh, he's not going in the A-gap. What is he doing? You don't give him any variety either. And honestly, I thought we would have more tosses. I thought we'd see more swings this year. And somehow, once again, we're not executing the running game. And that goes for the running backs, but it also goes for the offensive line. We're not pushing people back. When we're getting 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1, we're not pushing people.
But let me bring this up too. You know how you get good in the running game? You practice it. And you practice it.
We don't practice it.
And you practice it.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we practice it? Injuries right now.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not like the passing game where you go out and throw the ball around. You need to be physical. You need to body on body, and you need to get after it, right? You can't do that right now. You can't in practice. With the injuries that we have, so many people dinged up. Think about it. We had, 4 D tackles on the injury report last week, right? Mm-hmm. So the only way to get good in the running game is you going inside run period. It's literally an inside run period where all you do, there's no receivers out there. Receivers are in corners and safeties. Everybody down there. You run the ball. For 15 minutes, you run the ball in the inside run period. That's the only way you're going to get good at running the ball. And a lot of fans, they don't understand this. They can't do that right now. They don't have the bodies to do that. How dumb would it be if you look later and these 2 guys got hurt today during the inside run period? How dumb would McDermott look? How dumb would he look? Let's be honest here. But right now, you have an elite quarterback. You have some weapons out there, and you can pass the ball, and nobody really can stop it. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to pass the ball, and we're going to sprinkle some run in there. Why? Because we can't effectively work on the run game. A lot of people think you just go out there and just hand the ball off and say run. It doesn't work like that. Once again, this is not John Madden football. This is real life. You have to run. When I was in college, we were the top rushing team in the country. Why? We had 2 inside run periods a day in practice, and we were physical as hell, and we got after it. And that's because you got to practice it. You can't just give somebody a ball and say run. You have to practice that. And right now, the Bills can't effectively practice that in practice with so many injured guys. It's just not smart.
All right, before we get the final thoughts, Sarah, do you have anything to add to this topic before we take off on it?
No. Go ahead.
Okay, good. All right, before we get the final thoughts, James, I got one more question for you. If you could put a percentage on what percentage do you think the Patriots or Ravens, potentially those two teams, have more reps than the Bills do at the running game in practice during the week?
I mean, look at their coaches and look at the coach's personality.
Right. What are you thinking? Give me a percentage.
Well, what the percentage?
How many more reps percent are they allocating to running the game reps than the Bills probably are in practice at this point in time?
Oh, the Ravens probably 60 or 70 because their quarterback is such a huge part of the run game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably 60, 70. And how limited freaking the Patriots are, they probably have 50 to 60% more reps than the Bills.
Okay.
But also the passing game, that's why the Bills are elite passing because they practice passing more. You know how many teams in the league wish they could pass the ball like the Bills though.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring that. I thought that was a good topic, and I'm glad that we actually touched on that. But final thoughts before we move on. And actually, in your final thoughts, I want you guys to give me a projection of a Khalil Shakir stat line for this week. Sarah, final thoughts. You go first.
God, it's his stat line. I don't think it's going to be anything huge because I feel that between Gabe and Stefan, they're going to have more of a game. But I think he'll have probably 3 or 4 catches. Somewhere 48, 50 yards, hopefully.
Okay. Any final thoughts about this game coming up? Pittsburgh coming to town?
I'll just say that my prediction, and everyone thinks I'm nuts, but was 41-17. And I'm going to stick with that. And I think weather's supposed to be great. It's supposed to be 55 and sunny. I think Josh is, over the last 2 weeks of the weather being ridiculous. And I think he's going to go out and just be crazy. And I actually think our defense is going to probably have a couple of interceptions again, definitely against Pickett. So that'll be fun.
All right. James, final thoughts on the Khalil Shakir stat line for the week 5?
Sarah, I'm with you. I'm rolling with you, Sarah. 4 catches, 46 yards.
Okay.
2 for first downs.
All right.
That's what I'm rolling with. I think people think it's going to be a blowout, which I think it very well could get out of hand. But I think the Steelers, with Mike Tomlin, they're going to come in and fight more than what people giving them credit for. I think they'll fight hard initially, but then it's just going to get overwhelmed and it's going to be too much. I think, their quarterback Pickett is going to throw about 2 or 3 interceptions. So I think that's what's really going to separate us. So I think I'll say the Bills 35-10.
Okay, 35-10. That's cool. All right, I'm going to go with I'm going to go 5 catches, 60 yards. I think he'll have one for about 30 yards. I think that he'll get lost in coverage at some point. I think Josh is going to purposely target him because I think as he becomes more of a veteran quarterback, you purposely target certain people for different reasons. I think that they know they're going to need this kid going forward. You're going to purposely target him in a very winnable game, and you're going to build that confidence up, and you're going to build that rapport. So I'm going to say 5 for 60 for Shakir. If I have to give a stat line or game prediction, I'm going to say 38. I'm going to say 38-14. I think we're all around that 14 to 17 point range. We don't see the Steelers getting more than 3 touchdowns, and honestly, the Bills owe them one from last year. So this is also a little bit of a revenge game. But other than that, guys, it was a great show. As always, thank you, James. Thank you, Sarah. Dropping dimes, dropping knowledge, dropping viral picks. And we're, on this podcast, we don't just have inside knowledge from Mallory. We have celebrities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? CBS. Big time. Okay.
You're cool.
We got bad taste. Hey, but no, we'll see you guys next week. I'm not sure what day. I got to check my work schedule. Probably Tuesday. But no, this was a great show, and I love doing it. As always, Bills Mafia, thanks for tuning in. I'm trying to think. I don't have any news or announcements. Not like that. Nothing going on. No, I ain't really got nothing. That's it. Pittsburgh week. Bills need to go win that game. I know it's something I'm forgetting, but I can't remember what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you for joining. Catch you guys later. Peace.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.